Hi everybody, today we're going to carry on with our mini series on the California Grand, and we're going to look at the combi boiler, the Troubleshooting combi boiler, which is powered by gas as standard, and obviously electricity as well if you're actually plugged into the side. So if you've seen the previous videos, we've looked at putting the water in, we've looked at the electric side of things as well, and the gas side of things, and all that comes today and comes together with the gas heating system. So let's get into it, let's have a look. So the heating system is all controlled via the control panel up on top on here. There is a separate control panel as well, because the actual system itself, so the actual boiler, is located under the passenger seat here. So we're going to start off with the hot water. So turn your control panel on and go to temperature, at the top here, heating. And then you want the second one, which looks like a thermometer in water. Put that. And then you've got two options. You've got 40 degrees or 60 degrees, and that's for your water temperature. So if you click on, it'll come on to 40 degrees, and that's that then. Currently now the hot water system is working, so the gas obviously supply will start up. That will then start heating that hot water supply, and obviously if you leave it for a little while once you actually arrive somewhere, and then obviously when you check your taps, you'll start getting hot water that comes out of there, and it'll keep that hot water on that basis then at 40 degrees for you. So now if we have a look at the actual heating itself within the vehicle, so again back to temperature and heating, and this one now we're looking at the top one here which says off. We press that, we can turn it on, and then you can set the temperature which you require that's on there. So 21 degrees for example, 22 degrees. The thing to bear in mind though as well is, which is quite important, it's obviously monitoring the temperature within the cabin as itself at the moment, and they are on the top here. Internal temperature 24.4, external temperature 18.6. So for the heating system, for it to work anytime at the moment now, you'd have to be above 24.4 within the settings for it actually to switch on, because obviously it's monitoring. It's just like your central heating system at home. So you set a temperature, if it goes below that within the cabin, your heating system will then fire up. You could set it for example for 20 degrees in an evening, and then in theory then once it gets below that, the heating system will then come on. So we've plugged into the vehicle now, into the side. We go to temperature and heating, where we've got gas. Click on the gas thing. So now we've got an option of 6 amp and 10 amps on the plug that's on there. So we could, for example, press 6 amp, and now that would now actually work off the electric, so it wouldn't use the gas system to heat the water, for example, that was in there, or produce heating from it. And you can obviously change that as well to 10 amp. So if you were plugged in on a campsite with a better feed that's coming from, we're just plugged in on a 13 amp plug in the showroom. So and you've also got mix as well. So mix, for example, on there will give you gas and electric. If you want to have this window open at the side, for example, you would have to be on the electric side of it rather than the mix, because anything which has got a potential to have gas in the system wouldn't work. So as you can see at the moment, for example, we're on the plug-in, everything's working as it should do. It's working off the electricity rather than the gas supply. But if I was to change this now to mix, for example, that was on there, and then come back, you'll notice this is going to start flashing, saying that there's an error, and that error being that this window's open. And you can't have the window open, because obviously if the gas was to run, the gas vent is on the other side of it, and so you get the fumes from the gas coming up and into the window. So my advice would be, if you're on a campsite and you've got a plug-in, plug it in. One, saves you gas. Most campsites here in the UK will only charge you a fixed fee for using electricity. Now I have been informed in Europe this is slightly different, because I think in some places in Europe they do charge you for how much electricity you actually use. So obviously then you might have to think, I'll work it out depending on how expensive that electricity is. But certainly here in the UK anyway, most campsites just charge you a fixed fee for using electricity. So no, whenever I go, I just use as much electric as I can rather than using the gas, because I'm paying for it anyway, that's on the site. So if you want to have that window open and let more air into the vehicle and things like that, pop it onto the electric side of it as you plugged in anyway, and then that will obviously heat your water and it'll give you heating as well. So you've got the air conditioning unit on the roof on here. You also access controls of that from there as well. This particular vehicle hasn't got the air conditioning unit. Once we get one that has got the air conditioning unit, obviously we can give you a demonstration of how that works as well. Just a couple of things to mention to you as well that's worth checking on the control panel. On the bottom section here, it's telling you about all your different feeds. So you've got your batteries, you've got your gas, you've got your heater, which is on at the moment because obviously we've set the hot water to come on. and then your heater is saying that your heater is on for your temperature that's there as well. Now the reason I say it's good to look at these things that's on here is because if there's a problem with the system, so for example you've got no gas, that gas light will actually flash. If you ran out of gas, for example, that was on here and your gas system shut off, obviously your boiler system would then shut off as well, and it will go into error because it will protect itself on the basis that it thinks there's a gas leak somewhere. Even if it's run out, it's just running out of gas. Gas leaks the same thing. You've got no gas going to the system, and we're going to have a look at that in a moment now, because I'm going to show you what the error codes are and how to actually change the error codes. So if you do come to that situation, you know exactly what to do, and it's nice and easy to rectify that. So I mentioned that the combination boiler is actually underneath here, so you've got no direct access to get to it, bar this little flap on the side here, which if we open that flap up that's in here, this is actually the control panel for the actual boiler itself. Now most of the controls are mirrored, so whatever you do up here on this control panel will link down to this control panel, and vice versa. If you change something on here, it will also change the one at the top. This isn't something you should need to go to too often, but it is there to tell you what's actually happening. So for example, on here at the moment, now everything's working fine. Even though it's flashing, everything is working fine as it should do. So I'm just going to turn the gas off now, and you should see an error message come up on the display. So I'm going to turn the gas supply off here, and now we should see a fault come up on the display down below. So I've turned the gas off. You've seen the fault that's down there as well. You'll also see in the control panel here at the top now you've got gas that's flashing. So the gas supply was interrupted. The boiler has got an error that's on there. I've actually turned the gas back on now, but your error is still going to be there. It's not just going to restart back up again. So I'm just going to show you now how to actually get rid of that error, and as well so you know where to, if there's any other problems that you have with the gas system, where to go and how to actually do those as well. So as I said, we've shown you the faults come up on here now, and there's a code that's on. If I just get this little light up, you see it a bit better. Is E to say that there's an error. 507 is the code, and the error is with the heating system, so with H4 for heating. And every vehicle comes with one of these, and in this book it gives you a whole long list of all possible errors that might actually be with the heating system. And 507 says gas cylinder empty. So the times that, for example, with the gas supply might be problems if you turned it off at night and then you put your heating system on, and maybe you forgot that you've turned the gas off somewhere that's there. Obviously it's going to cause this fault that comes through as well. Most of the time you never have a problem with this, because once you get to a campsite you turn on your gas on and then you'll turn your heating system on, and that's the key to it really, is you make sure your gas supplies or your electricity supply is all in place, and then turn your water heater and your heating system on thereafter. So to clear the error code is really simple. It's very simple. There's a couple of ways. I've tended to find some reason these actually sometimes just reset themselves if you turn the gas supply back on again, so it might just start working anyway. If it's on here now, you could, for example, just press the button. Now on this time now it said no, reset for 15 minutes, heater locked. So if it's locked now for 15 minutes, what you'd have to do now is wait until this stops flashing. You can then press the button. I think in the handbook it says a double press, but whichever works as long as it stops flashing. Lastly on these things, they are updated as you go along. So this vehicle, for example, has only just come from the factory. You will notice some slight differences with the control panel and how it works between the different models. It's not that it's a different system. I think it's just that obviously slightly newer ones, for example, will probably have a different software that's backed in there. So on this particular vehicle for the moment, as I said, you're just pressing that button to reset it. On some of the other vehicles, for example, you actually have to go into the settings and find where the exclamation mark is, as you can see from on there. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. You may have noticed as well is the vehicle we've actually been using today is the 680 version, which is our new demonstration model that we've got. It's the first 680 we've had, so obviously watch out very soon. There's going to be a video coming up showing you all about the 680, and it's also our first one in a two-tone colour as well. So we've got the blue and the white, which really looks, I think really looks really nice on the vehicle. So very shortly you'll see a video on this vehicle. We'll show you what the 680 is all about, a bit of an in-depth look, because we've not looked at one apart from the shows and things that we've been to before. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, give us a thumbs up, give us a like as always. If you don't subscribe already, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.